We've had a nice breakout from the price of Bitcoin yesterday during the Fed interest rate decision. Now Bitcoin is facing a little bit of resistance. Are we going to find a deeper correction to the downside or continue the momentum to the upside? In this episode, we will analyze those high probable resistance and support levels that needs to hold for continued momentum to the upside. Remember, down in the description under exchanges, I've got Bluffin with that 10% cash back where you deposit money into your Bluffin account in the features section, and leaving your money there, you will qualify for the 10% cash back on the money that you've deposited. Also, I've got Bybit, and that World Series of Trading is around the corner where we are forming a team and we're going to go and compete for some amazing prizes. Let's go and analyze the price of Bitcoin. Just a quick recap here on the price of Bitcoin, and I'm here on the 12-hour time frame. Yesterday, we spoke about the scenario as well, is to say that, okay, now we have acceptance back inside the range. And regardless of the structure, okay, that we are currently finding ourselves in, what is most important is that we hold this level at $58,000. As long as we can stay inside of the range, okay, I know that there's resistance facing us above, but you do increase the probabilities, okay? When you have a deviation below, you get acceptance back above, you increase the probabilities that you're going to go back to the top of the range. For now, we have some nice green volume supporting the momentum back inside the range. We've also broken this diagonal trend here with some nice volume to the upside, and although we could be facing some resistance to the upside, because remember, nothing just goes up in a straight line, everything moves in waves, but we have now increased the probabilities of coming to tap the top of the range again at $70,000. The first major area of resistance, like I highlighted yesterday, is at $64,000, where I've got this high volume node, and you can see that there was massive amounts of volume that can definitely offer resistance over here. But also, we have another level that I mentioned yesterday as well at 66, or let's call it $67,000. Okay, looking at this structure here on the higher time frame, okay, we have made a low over here, and now we have made a higher low. So what you would like to see from a larger time frame perspective, looking at this structure, is that we need to make a higher high, and then we could potentially argue to say that, okay, now we have a higher low, and now we have a higher high. That's where you want to see market structure change that can confirm more momentum to the upside. Once the higher high is in, then what you would like to see is yet again a higher low, and then potentially it's off to the races we go, where we have now officially changed market structure, where we have a high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, and then momentum continues here to the upside. So very important that Bitcoin claims this high here properly and not just roll over and claim this low, where we could find ourselves back outside of the range for lower levels to the downside. Let's go and analyze the price inside of this structure to see, well, where is the resistance level that we're currently facing, and why did price stop exactly where it is at the moment? Can we still expect a little bit higher, or are we going to make a small little pullback to the downside and then continue the momentum to the upside? Looking at Bitcoin here on the 1 hour time frame, okay, the trend is your friend until the very end. And for now, the trend is still up. You can see that we've made the low over here. I've readjusted my trend line to connect with these lows over here. And for now, the trend is up. So longs are still in our favor. This could potentially be a small little pullback for continued momentum here to the upside. What is important to note over here is that we have broken the 4-hour trend. When I zoom out, you can see by connecting these highs, we have broken trend with some nice green volume, potentially confirming momentum to continue here to the upside. So what you would now like to see is for price to consolidate, perhaps have a small little correction here to the downside, retest the trend and not gain acceptance back inside the trend, where we could see continued momentum back to the upside, where we have that point of control at $64,000 that I've just highlighted. The reason we have stopped exactly where we are at the moment, I spoke about this level yesterday as well, and that's exactly where Bitcoin is now currently consolidating, perhaps preparing for a little bit of a cool off to the downside. What I'm looking at over here is that when I take a fib extension, okay, from the low to the high over here, to the low, you can see that we have tapped the 1.236 area that I've identified yesterday during my live stream to perfection. Okay, 1.236 to perfection. When we tapped the one-to-one extension, you can see that we got a little bit of a cool off to the downside. Will this time be different? Potentially what I'm looking at over here on the smaller time frames when I zoom into this price action is to say definitely a possibility to sweep the highs once again and potentially swing failure from the highs where you gain acceptance back below for a deeper correction, perhaps bouncing here on the trend for a retest and continuation here to the upside. But for the bulls, it is extremely important that you remain above this trend. If price finds its way down here and you gain acceptance back inside the trend, you increase the probabilities that you're most likely going to break. The trend is your friend until the end, and maybe no more friend over here, and then we find a little bit of a deeper correction here to the downside. So for the bulls, what you would like to see is for us to hold trend over here. Okay, if we do get a correction here to the downside, okay, I do expect perhaps, some consolidation to take place over here. It does seem likely at the moment based on bearish CVD that I see building up here as well. You can see as price is currently pumping here to the upside, we are starting to form some nice bearish CVD, confirming that we could potentially, okay, it's all a game of probabilities, nothing is ever for certain, but when I look at this high over here, you can see that we could potentially, okay, it looks like we're breaking up and then we start losing momentum and we go and correct for a little bit of a cool off, okay, but definitely also that possibility price can just shoot out from here, flip the area into support and continue the momentum here to the upside. So it's all about observing the price reaction when we hit certain levels. We have to acknowledge that we are at resistance at the moment. What makes the 1.236 level so significant as well is that it's a very common Fibonacci retracement area specifically for corrective waves as well. So this wave here to the upside could potentially still be corrective, where we could find a rejection from where we are right now for a little bit of a deeper cool off to the downside. What I would like to see is for us to smash this level for bullish continuation and flip the area into support for continued momentum here to the upside to at least the $64,000 area. When I take a normal Fibonacci here from the high to the low that we've made over here, you can see we also have that 0.786 level over here where the price could potentially find a little bit of a cool off. Okay, we've got the 1.236, the 0.786, so definitely a possibility to chop, and then you find a little bit of a deeper correction here to the downside. So definitely an area of resistance that the price of Bitcoin needs to break through to confirm continued momentum to the upside. I also see that there's a lot of altcoins breaking major trend lines at the moment to the upside. One of the altcoins I traded yesterday as well was Ethereum, okay? Already closed the position. I knew that we could potentially go higher, but it's about winning the trade, planning the trade, taking profits where you're supposed to take profits. And this was basically the trading setup that I took yesterday, okay? We came back down. We found acceptance back above this resistance area. I entered, okay, and I plan to take profits by this pivot over here, which happened. But now Ethereum has broken this trend over here, okay? Let me just take the scribble here out the way. You can see that I have been keeping an eye on this trend, okay? Connecting the highs over here, and this is now exactly where Ethereum is getting the breakout. So what you would also like to see more locally inside of this structure is that we do have a low, we have a higher low, and we have a high over here. So for Ethereum to gain bullish momentum to the upside, more locally, you want Ethereum to claim this high here at $2,469. So if Ethereum can find the strength to break this high over here, okay, and yet again make a higher low, we could see Ethereum crawling its way back up here to come and claim this high again at $2,800. Okay, so for now, I see many alts are breaking out of major trend lines that I've been keeping an eye on, but this is the major trend line that I'm keeping an eye on over here for Ethereum. I mean, this is the 1 hour time frame. I'm just simply tracking this momentum, catching the breakout before the big breakout happens, because when I zoom out here onto the 8 hour time frame, you can see I'm basically connecting this pivot against this pivot, and I'm simply tracking this momentum where we now got the breakout to the upside. Okay, we have a higher low, which for now looks good. What ETH now needs to do is make a higher high compared to this high, around about $2,800. Once ETH has put in the higher high, we can then say, okay, perhaps market structure is starting to change. Okay. And then this is the big trend that I'm watching, is to say that potentially we come back up here, we reject by the trend. What you would like to see is a higher low form over here for the breakout here to the upside. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to be part of our Legends trading community, first link down in the description. Thanks for watching. Smash up the like for the alpha. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And until the next one, cheers for now.